Hey everyone. Before we talk about the upcoming updates for Epic 7, I just want a quick announcement why there was no Guild War video on Friday. Windows 11 screwed me over. I recorded all my attacks, but the sound was so off and it was unsalvageable. So I just dipped and told myself, yeah, it's bad, can't help it. I deleted the footage. I didn't end, was very clean attacks. We'll be back with Guild War on Monday. I apologize for that. I just hate Windows 11 and I really hope Microsoft dips or just crashes down and burns with 11 and just goes straight to 12, because usually every second iteration of Microsoft Windows is actually half decent. 10 was good, 11 is trash. Let's hope 12 is going to be better. But that's it about the rant of Windows 11 being trash. Let's talk about the new era for Epic 7. Today's video is going to be divided into a couple of parts. Part 1 is going to be me talking about quality of life stuff. Part 2 is going to be talking about the new system, the so-called Imprint Circuit. Part 3 will be very, very briefly talking about the new units in the game. Part 4 is going to be about episode 6. Also very briefly, I'm not an expert on the story of Epic 7. And the last part is going to be a very, very tiny sneak preview of the 8.4 update that arrives in May. All right, let's get talking. First part of the video is going to be the quality of life stuff, and we'll be beginning with gear enhancement. The most prominent gear enhancement part is going to be the Astrium Pass that gets an upgrade. As we all know, the Astrium Pass, or not the Astrium Pass, but Astrium in general gets an upgrade, the Astrium Forge, so to say. And as of right now, the only way to gain Astrium as a currency is from the pass, which is rather expensive, right? I believe it's 3.8k for the special reward, and I found out this month the special reward is absolute trash, so I'll never buy this again. But the premium pass is actually not that bad. You get the 100 Astrium right away, it's on rank 1. And the Astrium allows you to go into the Steel Workshop. And where was it? Go into the Astral Forge, select a set. Any set is fine. You then roll the gear set. I don't have anything to show off here, but I can show you the final result. So this is what it's going to look like going forward. So a slightly different look to the Astrium Forge. And you can see quite a few new things on this screenshot. Now, first of all, Astrium won't be exclusive to the pass anymore soon. I'm not quite sure whether this applies or starts on April 2nd. I would suggest so, because Astrium passes usually roll around every month. So I believe this should be part of the April 2nd update, but I'm not quite sure. And as you can see, we have a new currency at the bottom here. And this one is, or the item is called Cosmonium, as we can read below the boots. And what Cosmonium does is it transforms the item that you've selectively crafted through the Astrium Forge into an otherworldly piece, which is a huge, huge upgrade, because as you all know, an otherworldly gear cannot low roll. So for example, HP percent can only roll 7 or 8. Speed can only roll 3, 4, or 5, with 5 having a higher chance than it usually does, which is a really, really strong upgrade. But that's not all. There's something that we can't see on this screen, but something that is definitely coming is another type of secondary enhancement where you can lock out a single stat of rolling. For example, let's take the boots here. Ideally, when you're rolling this piece, you don't ever want to hit it on flat attack. And the secondary currency that we're getting, and I believe it's going to be super rare and super expensive, will allow you to permanently lock out flat attack in this case, such that all the rolls up from +3 to +15 will only target attack percent, crit damage, and crit chance. And what that means, if you just move away from the boots that we're seeing here on screen, if you have an item, let's go back into the game, right? And if we have an item such as this, where it's, what are base stats here? Yeah, so these are the base stats, right? And in an ideal world scenario, this item, I don't want to particularly have it roll into crit damage. Now, I was lucky enough that it didn't roll into crit damage, right? But I could lock out crit damage in this case for a probably hefty price. And then the only three viable rolls are defense percent, speed, and health percent. And that means the chances of actually rolling a 25 plus speed item increase. They increase by a huge amount too, because all of a sudden, every piece is treated like a purple piece, but with red piece rolls, which is incredibly strong. And what I suggest is that the speed inflation is going to get crazy. Oh, these screenshots are for later. And with everybody having access to this, and I believe the Cosmonium, as well as the secondary currency for locking out stats from rolling, my honest opinion is, while they're great, I believe they will be A, super rare, and B, they will probably bundled into some packs as well, which you have to buy for money. And what this does is it's going to divide the player base into those who spend the extra money for the chance, it's not a guarantee still, for the chance of having better gear. And what's going to happen is that my Renard, for example, is 327 speed, right? And I can already tell 12 months from when that update hits, that 327 speed is going to be the bottom of the barrel. And with people already having 5 out of 5 25 plus speeders, those same people that are already at 5 out of 5 will be at 10 out of 5, maybe even 15 out of 5 speeders. And all of a sudden, you will need a 340 Renac just to speed contest. I find this a little bit worrisome at how fast the game is moving ahead into the inflationary state of just permanently increasing stats. It's going to be a tough pill to swallow, especially for new players that, or even casual players that want to just race. But it is, well, I guess the part of Epic 7 after 8 years almost now at this point, where the devs are kind of forced to do something. And I believe inflation helps in a short term for that. But I believe it's not healthy for the game when everybody needs to have 340 speed units, which is going to be the case. Like Aronian, the Hall of Fame rank 1 finisher from last season, she is at 42, I believe, out of 5. And she spent a whole lot of money on the game. And when you do that, I believe she's upwards of $2 million or Korean won equivalent spent. Yeah, you deserve 42 25 plus speeders, but still, with this upgrade system, I have a feeling a lot more people are going to get very, very lucky. And it's going to somewhat ruin the experience. Maybe I'm just dooming. Maybe I'll be the beneficiary myself. I don't know. I would hope so. But it sets a dangerous precedent. But let's not doom post this. I still believe making rolling good gear easier is, for all intents and purposes, a very net positive thing, especially for pieces such as crit damage set, protection set, and what have you. So overall, perfect system. I love it. But that's not where it ends. Something that has been very, very tedious, in my opinion, is enhancing gear per se. And Smilegate finally realized it. The previous content director, now project director, PV Tech, I believe is his name. I find it very charming, and he just gives up very positive vibes because he's playing the game himself, and you can tell that he does, because whenever he makes changes, it's something that bothers him himself. So, and this was something that bothered him as well. So I like it. And we'll be able to select up to 16 pieces of equipments and upgrade them simultaneously. Now, on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see that the charms have been consolidated. You don't have dedicated charms for weapon, for helm slot, for chest slot, and boot slot anymore. Those are now combined into one single equipment charm, which I find highly, highly um, uh, great. I love it. And the same applies to the right side accessory stuff. So no more dedicated ring charms, no more dedicated necklace charms. They're all consolidated into accessory charms. And yes, while this makes the or dumps down the game, quote unquote, it is a very welcome change. It's something that was overdue for a very long time. Make it a little more simplifying, and it also helps you to. I mean, I've currently ran out of helmet charms because I need my 25 plus speed on helm. I don't have a 25 plus speed on helm, so I've been crafting helms a lot lately. I still don't have any 25 piece on helm slot, but I'm running low on helm charms. And this helps me to not run into that issue, because farming a dedicated charm or dedicated charms is really, really tedious. And this helps with that fatigue in that regard. Now, but then back to the system. So you can select up to 16 items, and then you press at the bottom, you can see +3, 6, 9, 12, 15. You press +3 or +6, for example. It enhances everything. You can see the rolls here. And whenever you decide, okay, these rolls are trash, you tick the box off, or boxes if there's multiple items, and then you continue to +6 to +9, tick more boxes off, and until eventually you're either +15 an item or all are trash, and you just dump all of them. Huge time saver, especially for those days where you are farming Otherworldly Hunt during Hunt buff, or Otherworldly Breach during Breach buff. They usually come in pairs. And when you do the Otherworldly Breach stuff, you usually get 300 items. You dump half of it anyway, or 2/3 in my case. But still, being able to roll 16 items at a time, huge time saver. I love it. Now, another thing that Smygate is tackling is Grace of Growth. Right now, Grace of Growth, as you can see here, I have my second Young Senya in Grace of Growth, but the second slot, it's unoccupied. And the reason is it costs 1,500 Sky Stones, it's a rental system, and it only applies for 30 days. Sure, the upside is I have no cooldown timer for when I want to change that second unit, but I believe that Smygate kind of realized nobody uses the second Grace slot. Nobody spends the 1,500 Sky Stones. So what they are doing is the second slot is for free, and has probably same limitations as the first slot. But at the end of the day, we gain 2 Grace of Growth slots. Perfect. I like it. Let's move on to the next topic, which is RTA. RTA gets one huge update, and that is AI-assisted RTA. Now, what this does is after your pre-buns are done, the game will suggest you what to pick. And this only applies to the leagues starting from Bronze up to and including Champion. So people in Warlord, Emperor, and Legend do not benefit from this. I don't even believe they need this system. It is aimed at newer players or inexperienced players with RTA, and it's supposed to help ease the burden. Now, this AI system, I don't remember whether they talked about it or not, but it's a system trained on RTA games played, I believe, by either the top 100 or the top 1K. I hope it's the latter, because the former, the top 100, it's not a lot of games compared to the overall pool of games that you could have. While the quality of games might be higher than within the top 1K, the issue is you could run into underfitting, which is in terms of AI, you stray too far from the ground truth, and the AI has potential to hallucinate or give you bad advice. Now, as with all AIs, this is still possible, even if it were the top 1K, if they took that data set. But still, I really hope it's the top 1K and not the top 100, just so they have more games to train the AI on. But what the system does, once you start in the pick phase, from your first pick onwards, it suggests units. it suggests only units that you own. For example, in this picture, if you didn't have, for example, a Monarch of the Sword Iseria, it wouldn't show up here, which I find very nice. And what we can see from this screen so far, I don't know who has first pick. Actually, we do know the DN was first pick, then the AI suggested Yulha and Genesis Strauss, and then the right-hand side picked Lenaf and Renak. Yeah, so we are second pick here. And the AI suggests Belian, Iseria, and Racist Sigrid, both of which all perfectly fine into this. Usually, when you see this, you would go either Belian or Iseria. I would personally pick Iseria on 3 just to lock her in and force the enemy to go for Mord plus X, just to counter the Iseria. Mord would be a force ban in this case. Probably what you could do is Iseria plus Belian in this case, just to deny the what's it called, the end. Or you could go Iseria and, for example, Hecat, though Hecat isn't good with the first 2, but it's still a decent pick. Or Veronica would also be a good pick. But the suggestions here, they're actually nice. And once you're done with the draft, what the game also does is it suggests you a post ban. And you can see this is indicated by the green border around the unit. So the AI suggested Belian, Iseria, and Racist Sigrid, but the player here chose Rel over the other 2 suggested units. I don't know whether the UI actually updated the 4th pick here after picking Iseria, but the left-hand side draft is actually pretty decent, I'll be real. True, what is very true is the left side draft literally dies to the end if none of the, for example, the Yulha is not on immunity, or the Iseria and Setsuka aren't on immunity, this entire draft fails to the end. But still, it's a good draft nonetheless. And the obvious post ban here was Mort. For me, it's obvious. For a new player, it might not be obvious. So the AI helping, in this case, a newer or an inexperienced player to make the right decision is good. But that's where the AI ends. Now, I can already foresee that the AI at some point might be even helping in or during the fight, making suggestions regarding targeting, for example, when to use which skill. I totally believe this is going to be the case at some point in time, because when I go into mock rooms, for example, and play against very inexperienced players that are in Silver, in Gold League, or barely scraping it together for Masters, the 2 things that I most often see in inexperienced RTA players is targeting. That is the absolute worst offender with new players or inexperienced players, next to drafting issues. That's a whole lot another issue, and the AI system will help a lot with this. But next to targeting, using skills correctly is one of the biggest offenders that I most likely see in new players. And if there was ever a case for decent AI use, I would say this is it. I wouldn't go to champion with this, helping actually in-game while fighting. But up to Masters, I'd be fine, because who cares about Masters? It's just for the skin, it's cool. And I, for one, I've seen a lot of negative comments about this on, obviously, Reddit and Stove, because on Reddit and Stove, everybody just hates the game and cannot wait until it end of services. But when you think about this for more than half a second and use more than one brain cell, this whole AI system only has benefits, because everybody says RTA is getting more and more dead. No new people are coming into RTA, which is wrong, by the way. But just to help with the burden of, oh my God, I have to play RTA for the skin. I don't know how to play this. The AI actually helps. It takes off the burden. Yeah, it thinks for you. You still have to think for yourself. Don't get it twisted. AIs may hallucinate, and it's not going to be perfect, but it's an overall help. And in an ideal world scenario, a player that is somewhat interested in PvP might learn a few things from the AI. By drafting correctly. Like, the left-hand draft is very solid, even though it loses to Dien if you don't have immunity. But that's maybe something the player learns as he goes, right? He goes into this, sees the DN takes the first turn, S freeze, and hopefully the first thought is, okay, how do I beat this? And when the player then comes to the conclusion that, immunity set would have been pretty good in this case, and changes some of the gears on, for example, Setsuka or Iseria or Yolha in that case, then you've won. Then the AI system did its part. It not only showed him the player what a good draft looks like based on the top 100 or top 1K, but it also hopefully allows him to think a little bit into, how do I beat this even when I have a good draft? And then reassign skills. So yeah, that's a lot of hope here. But if the AI is able to A, bring more people into RTA, and B, have them discover the game mechanics, play properly, gear properly, that's a huge win. So I'm all for this. And it doesn't affect me because I'm an Emperor/Legend player. So I still think it's a net positive for the game in total. All right, next topic, shop update. A topic that isn't much liked by most players because it involves whaling, but Smilegate will update the shop UI. As you can currently see, this is what it looks like. We have the slider bar here, which slides infinitely, as you can tell. And yeah, it's all right. But what's really nerve-wracking is this part. You have to slide down quite a lot to gain, for example, the large leaf packs here, which is the only good pack left in the game, in my opinion. And Smugget is changing that. So, the shop UI update, it's going to get updated into the same UI design language that the game is already aiming at for the slightly bluish hue with more rigid and boxy frames, but it's also displaying a little bit more content right away, which in my opinion is totally fine. I like it that way. And we have more tabs over here, so it just looks more organized than it currently is. Sure, we're losing out on the illustrations such as this one with the Nodos background. We don't know if that's going to be actually the case, but overall, I feel like this is still a decent change and it allows it to be a little bit more flexible. Now, in terms of whaling, yeah, there's an update. Two, for those who want to spend money on the game. There's two things they talked about. First, they will increase the items within the existing pack. So we all know that on April 2nd, they will discontinue a lot of the packs, pretty much almost all of them, to be fair. And they will renew those packs with more value. Value in terms of more items. As you can see, the current that's Catalyst pack. Let's check what the Catalyst pack has right now. Yeah, this is the current pack. So we gain 6 red Catalyst selections, 3 epic ones, and the new one. It's 22,000 Korean won, I would assume. So it's a little bit more pricey in that case. Yeah, this one is €5. 22k Korean won is about, I believe, €10. So slightly more pricier, I believe. But it now has the books that you can use for polling. And what I'm hoping here is that they massively increase the amount of items, because right now it's 6 rare and 3 epic ones. And my hope is that because we have the bookmarks in them, that it's going to be just better. We can also see that they upgraded this further for 55k, which is around about €30, I would assume. That it's going to have actual bookmarks, the regular bookmarks you can use on new banners, for example, Skystones, and some friendship stuff. So, the pricing is going to be different. They promised better pricing in general, and the items are going to be a lot more in those packs. We'll have to see how this ends up being. I'm low-key hopeful because as of right now, like I said, the only pack that I'm buying is the Lavish Leaf pack. And that one has a lot of waste because you can buy this 10 times, you gain 8k energy, and that 8k energy is basically wasted for a full week unless you manually farm lobotomy for a saint or go hunt farming, go episode farming, and that's usually not the most efficient way. And I usually just use this for daily energy on hunt swipes for spectral cores, and that's it. And so it sits around there 1 week. I can refresh energy or regain energy. It's just a waste. What I'm hoping for is they up this to 100 leaves or maybe 200 even, remove the entire energy and give us some sky stones with it for hopefully the same price. I believe this is $29.99. If the price stays the same for 100 or 200 leaves, send some sky stones. That'd be a huge gain. Another pack that I usually used to buy was the Mystic pack. This one's super old. It's super expensive too. And if the Notos packs are something to go for, 1.7k Mystics for 90 euros, I'm hoping that we'll see something like this, but I'm not quite sure. And even then, I wouldn't buy them. I have all the ML5s. We also know from the patch notes for April 2nd that they will update the Leaf monthly pack and the monthly pack. Let's hope the price stays the same or it gets lowered. I'd like this to be $2.99 with 20 code battles and 100 sky stones per day. And for this, I'd like it to be $4.99 with 5 leaves per day or even 10 leaves per day. But 5 leaves per day, because that's 150 leaves, would be fine. But I wouldn't say no to 10 because that's 300. And 300 is round about 5 otherworldly runs, full otherworldly runs. So it'd be great. So we'll see how this ends up being. I'm low-key hopeful for me as a spender that it's going to be good. But I can understand that this is a sensitive topic to many people. So let's move on to the next topic. And that one is friendship. Friendship gets updated in the game. You guys probably know by now that when you friendship level 10 Luna, you get a special background that you can use for her. I don't... Oh yeah, there it is. No. But you can use this as a lobby, I believe. I don't know how to set this. I totally forgot how this works. But you can set the lobby to a Luna special frame. I believe the same was done for her city. And I really like that Smilegate is going to copy the system over from CZN. Now the friendship level gets increased to 15, up from 10. And when you reach level 15, this is for Salome, the next ML5 we'll be getting on April 23rd. We'll be getting this. And I think this looks pretty cute. And we'll be getting this for all the new units, I believe, starting with Perfumer Biblis, who's releasing on April 2nd. And yeah, it's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of materials to reach level 15. But Smilegate also made the XP required, the friendship XP required, a little bit easier from 1 to 10. And RTA will also provide friendship, which is nice for people like me who play RTA a lot. And I can't wait to see what the illustrations on all these new units are going to look like. I like the Salome one. It's a super casual one. It looks pretty cute, even though the unit has a pretty tragic story to her. I like it. It's great. And it also just goes to show off the insane talent of the development artists, or the artists in general, from Smilegate. They cooked, and I really like the design of this. All right. Next part is the Guild War update. Now, as of right now, Guild War is very, very tedious, as you all know. And for me, who really doesn't want to int at all during Guild War, it's especially annoying, so to say, when you don't have proper scouts. And there's 2 things that Smilegate is going to change. First, when you go into this screen, there will be now more visible, or more stuff will be visible. First, when you're fighting somebody, you can then copy the team. So when you can, this is from the live stream, when you see somebody tackling this team, we can see here Veronica, McCann, and Angelica, and the guy used the right side team, right? For the attack, you can then press this button here on the right and just copy the team and use it yourself, provided you have the units. First, very cool update. Now the second update, and I don't know what will be visible actually to us as players. The translation here says we'll be able to see health and combat readiness. Um, I don't know why it would show all of this in the preview, because I would hope that once you do a fight, you'd get this screen with the speed values, with the defense values, with the effectiveness, the ER. That's what I would hope for, and the artifacts, obviously. So, yeah, I really hope we get this screen and not just HP and combat readiness, because combat readiness is super arbitrary. You could fight arena at 320 speed, and for example, if 5 people go in, outspeed that arena, and you're the sixth guy who goes in with a 325 speed Renak, for example, and you get outspec because 5% happened, and it didn't happen for other 5 people. So I'm really hoping we're getting this detailed summary of your attack, because that's going to make scouting a lot easier. You can share this on Stove, Discord, Facebook, Twitter, or /X, and yeah, and Reddit, obviously. So I really hope we're getting this very detailed one, and not just the CR bar and the HP, because that'd be kind of meh. But I like it that they're making Guild War a little bit easier, not so super, super tedious. Because right now, if I really try hard, especially against good guilds, one single attack takes me an hour. And taking less time for attacks would be very much appreciated. That's it for all the new quality of life updates. And now let's move over to the new system that we'll be getting, and it's called Imprint Circuit. Now, this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with imprints per se. It's just a way for units to gain more stats and a perk at the final end. You can only have one perk per board. So when this update releases, and I believe this is part of the April 23rd update, we'll be getting 2 boards, and you can only get one epic perk, which is the final one, per board. You can set 5 units per board, indicated at the bottom left here. And since we're getting 2 boards, we'll have 10 units that gain additional stats. And as you can tell, we'll be getting HP, we'll be getting defense. It's probably flat stuff, but still attack, ER, crit damages can be seen here, effectiveness. I'm pretty sure crit chance will be also included. Hopefully speed too. But then again, speed would be very, very dangerous to include. But Smygate also made clear that the stat gains will be very, very incremental and not detrimental to RTA, such that they won't make RTA hellhole. Because if there's one thing that would be really bad is, say you have a board with 10 speed on top of the existing speed, and you just put in all your openers, and all of those openers all of a sudden have 10 speed, and you face somebody who doesn't have that guy who doesn't have the additional 10 speed on that board is going to be at a permanent disadvantage. So I'm really hoping this is a very, very sensitive and touchy object or subject, and it's going to be interesting how it's going to affect RTA. Now, I'm low-key worried that it might still ruin RTA to some degree, even if the stat increases are very small. It could be bad, but we'll have to see. I have mixed feelings on this. We'll see, I guess. Now, how does this work? So, in the top left, you can see S rank 1. The S stands for soul. So, the player level cap stays at 70, but the soul rank is a new level system, so to say, for us as players. And you can start gaining soul ranks once you reach level 70. And because this only applies to, say, endgame players, Smygate also reduces the amount of XP required from 60 to 70, which currently is quite a lot of XP that you need, by 40%. And you get soul ranks depending on what type of content you play. So basically the same way you get XP from playing the game, hunts, story, lobotomy for a saint, RTA, yada yada yada. All of those will give you rank XP, but the rank XP is then translated into soul XP, so to say. We'll have to see. That's all the information that we have currently on the system. We don't know what the final board perks are going to be like. It's going to be interesting. And yeah. Then the next new feature of the game is something called Milestone of Radiance. Let me load it up. So Milestone of Radiance is something that we've seen last year. I don't, it's the Guide of Orbis or whatever the name was called, but much better. So whenever you just play regular content, you gain points, these crystals down here. And with more and more crystals that you obtain, you will gain these chests. There are 4 types of chests. We've got the bronze chest, we've got the silver chest, we've got the gold chest here at level 4, and then we've got the diamond chest at level 5. And each of those chests contain different sort of items. This Milestone of Radiance feature or system is going to be expanded upon. Apparently, it's going to take us quite a while to max it out. But once Smygate said in the video that once enough people have finished out the Milestone of Radiance, they will just add more levels to it. As you can see, we don't know how many levels are in there right now, but we already know what the amount or what the rewards are. So let's boot this up. For new heirs, the Radiance or the chest rewards for new heirs, Moonlight Hero, one hero, one artifact. New players gain much more than one Moonlight Hero. I'll just point this out right now. But the new players, they gain quite a good amount of stuff here. And these are the chest rewards for returning heirs and veterans. So we'll be gaining something called Glory Coins. Glory Coins can be used for Cosmonium, for example, or for what's it called, slates, bottles, etc. So for actually good stuff, or for Moonlight 5-star selector. It's really good. My other system, I like it a lot. So for us veteran players or returning players, the silver chests, we have Potion of Ascension, Awakening Elixir, 6 or 4 Molar, a good amount of powder. So all the good stuff that we need, right? The silver chest already has the popular selection chest, which is pretty cool. The concept of this is nice, but I don't like it how they are handling them right now. The Epic Modification Gem slot, which is probably my favorite out of all of these. And then for the gold chest, we get 1 5-star artifact and 120 coins. And for the diamond one, we still get the Moonlight Hero. Now, that's the total amount of stuff you can get as a new player. So it's 10 Moonlight 5-star heroes. Now keep in mind, from all these 10 Moonlight 5-star heroes, you still can get dupes. And you will get dupes, trust me. Even though the game has many Moonlight 5-star heroes, a new player starting fresh, and new player is decided upon whether you started to play the game on January 1st or later. So if you started the game on December 31st, 2025, you do not count as a new player. You might as well start new right now. Probably, yeah, it's tragic to lose 3 months of progress, but that's how it is. For new players, the rewards are crazy good, but also very much needed. And I've seen a lot of players that call themselves veterans or returning players complain that new players gain 10 Moonlight 5-star heroes, and it's so unfair for veteran players. By the way, these are the returning heroes, returning heirs. So it's still pretty good. We also get 10 Moonlight 5-star heroes, and I don't know whether you want 144,000 stigma. I don't know what a returning heir would do with this, but still, you get quite a lot of good stuff here. 13 5-star heroes. Sure, we don't get the artifacts, but still quite a lot of Moonlight 5-star. We're getting a lot of good stuff. And the exchange, here's the exchange stuff that we get. So we get 5 Cosmonium. We know that we need 5 Cosmonium to make an item in the Astral Forge into another world piece. So that's cool. We also gain unknown slates, selectors, a couple of ones. We gain 1 Astrium. And what's really, really nice is you will get, as a returning here or veteran player, you will get a 20 speed necklace speed set, level 88. Super cool stuff. We'll also get a ring with 25 destruction set ring with 25% crit chance. Really cool stuff. So I like what we're getting as returning or veteran players. And in my opinion, all the stuff that you're seeing here is so much more worth than what the new players get. But different audience, different rewards. Smygate did very well to please, in my opinion, both side of players. And it's just, in my opinion, it's pure greed from the people who want the new player stuff as returning as. That's just cope, that's just absolute unnecessary, uncalled for grief. Everything that we are getting as returning as or veteran players is amazing. And last screenshot, I believe it's the same thing. Oh yeah, no, it's the same thing. So yeah, it's really, really nice what we're getting here. All right, now let's talk about the new units. And that coincides with episode 6. The episode 6 is called Dirge of an End. That's what the logo looks like. One might say, because the main line for this is the end, has come. Maybe end of service is coming. I don't know. Package, whale packs wholesale, inflation of speed, the story coming to an end. Yeah. No, the game is probably not closing down anytime soon. But the joke had to be made for all the people who want to end Epic 7 sooner than later. Still, episode 6, Dirge of an End. The overall tone of the story is supposedly a lot darker than it usually is. Charon is going to be the big evil again. And I would assume that Charon is going to be the end boss for the episode 6. The episode 6 will be divided into 2 parts. Part 1 starts on April 23rd, and the part 2 will finish late 2026. I believe they said December specifically. I might not sure, but I know for sure it's the end of the year. We will get part 2, and that part 2 will also probably unlock or coincide with the release of the dark version of Charon, because we already have a light version of Charon, so naturally this ML5-star boss is going to be Charon. And yeah, that's all the things that we know. They updated the system, so the story is going to be using the same format we've seen with DN and Aki's story, so it will be fully voiced. And it will also have tiles, like in the Senya event, and they expanded upon the tiles, so it's cooler to navigate, it's more livelier. They made a lot of improvements, apparently, to the system, so that it's not just you ticking down boxes, it's more akin to the previous version of the story that we had in the early years, for the first 6 years, for example. So it's overall better, it's more immersive, they said. We'll see if that holds up. And I have high hopes, because the Aki story and the 6th world story, they were really good, the origin story. And I have high hopes that they will also deliver on the episode 6 story. And apparently we'll be getting the first 4 parts of episode 6 on April 23rd, and the rest is coming then later on. But the 4 parts, this may sound like a little bit, but they apparently are very, very expansive and take a while to finish. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to this. Let's close all these windows and then take a look at the new unit. Apparently, the first new unit I'll be getting is Estelle. Actually, that's a lie. The first unit that is releasing from episode 6 is Salome. Salome is a Moonlight 5-star hero, and the only thing we know for right now is that she has the unique ability to copy a unit. So Salome, we don't know if it's the S3, we don't know if it's the S2, but we know that you can copy a unit with the identical stats. And in the video they showed off, Salome pressed a button and she copied Genesis Ras. And when you do so, you immediately take the turn again, which is an extra turn in that case, and you can then press the S3. You have only one turn during the copy phase, so it's like Ditto, but it's not permanent like Ditto in Pokemon. So once you press a button in the copy state, you immediately move back. So you better press that S3 from Genesis Ras. But yeah, it opens up a lot of cool stuff, because what happens if your Salome presses S3 on a Nodos that has the God of Battle buff? Do you gain the Nodos God of Battle buff too? Because in that case, you may press S2 from that God of Battle Nodos and just one-tap something. That'd be great. We don't know yet, but we will find out in 3 weeks when Salome releases on April 23rd. And I'm super curious. I really like the concept design, looks really cool. So yeah. Then we've got Estelle. We have no info whatsoever on her. So yeah, looks cool though. The next unit we'll be getting is Ivana. Cool design. And then we've got Ludwig, who is making a return. He's not a Shota anymore. He's grown up now. And we know that he's infiltrated the cult that Charon leads in episode 6. The Black Grail, I believe, is the name of the cult. Ludwig infiltrated that one. We'll be seeing how he is progressing throughout the story. Apparently, he's going to play a major role. Looks really cool. So I'm very hopeful to see, or I'm hopeful to see that he's probably not a cleave unit, because the Green Ludwig and the Moonlight Ludwig are both cleave units. So maybe this one won't be. But then lastly, we're getting Perfuma Biblis. She isn't tied to episode 6, but she was supposed to come out a long time ago, in my opinion. She was one of the 2 winners, the first one being Sigrid. The second one was from the Pixiv contest, the Creators Contest. And the design of Perfuma Biblis is just chef's kiss. I love it. It's so cool. And I agree with this comment. This is incredibly well made. Her kit is really cool too. It punishes cleavers, because her main gimmick is whenever an enemy takes the turn, you gain 5, or the entire party of yours gains 5% more HP, and the stakes up 5 times, meaning 25% more HP if the enemy entirely laps you. So it's a super cool feature. And I'll be very curious to see how she performs. She releases on April 2nd, which is next Thursday. Super cool. I'm very, very excited to see how she will perform. All right. Next is, let's see. Do I have a screenshot for this? Oh yeah, by the way, I just realized I have a screenshot for the locking away bad stats. Sorry for being this inconsistent, but here we can see on the left-hand side, the stat here, the attack stat is grayed out, or X'd out, so to say. Has a stop sign around it, and the other 3 have this cool stuff. So that's for that, but I am looking for another screenshot. I'm not quite sure whether I have this. It would not to be, appears not to be the case. So a new feature that is coming is called the God of Battles Colosseum. It's a direct continuation of what Smiley already started with the Colosseum. And the God of Battles Colosseum will simulate RTA to battle with NPCs. So you will battle NPCs in this Colosseum. You will have a true ban pick rate system. So it's going to be the RTA experience, but you're not fighting against real players. And I'll be honest, it probably won't take long. I give Smilegate 1 or 2 more seasons until they actually make the real RTA experience against bots as well. So you can get your master skin just by playing against bots instead of real players. I can already totally see that happening. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. But yeah. And lastly, as always, there is a coupon code you guys can use. Here it is, taken right off the screen. So new underscore era underscore gift 0402 gives you 15 leaf, 5 epic equipment charms, 5 epic accessory charms, and 5 epic artifact charms. Good stuff. No more wasted stamina. I like it. Or energy. So 15 leaves right off the gate. Very good stuff. And that pretty much closes out the video. So here's a total preview of all the things that we'll be getting. April 2nd, we get the equipment stuff. We get the milestone radiance. We actually also getting the Imprint Circuit. Okay, I was wrong about that. We get Perfumo Biblis. We get the Carrot Scented event. There hasn't been much information about this, so we'll have to wait for the info on Wednesday when it's coming, but it's supposedly just as good as the Carrot event last year was. And then a mysterious event, which is going to be Perfumo Biblis story event. On April 23rd, we'll be getting episode 6, the Black Grail Cult. We get a design contest apparently, and on May 14th, which is the release for the update version 8.4, we'll be getting the God of Battles Colosseum. And throughout all this time, starting April 2nd, it's probably going to be the group drafting stage. So no games played yet. We'll get the starting point for the Epic 7 Masters. And that pretty much closes out today's video. Don't forget about the coupon code. Good stuff. I am actually low-key hopeful. All the systems, especially the quality of life stuff, I'm really looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to Biblis. I can't wait to pull for her. She looks really awesome. All these animations the developers shown off in the video looked super, super good, as always with Epic 7. And yeah, it's going to be a great time to play the game. If you haven't started yet, start now. It's the perfect time to get going with Epic 7. And that wraps up today's video. 52 minutes already, quite a long one. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, press the like button, leave a comment for the algorithm, and I'll be back with Guild War next time. Have a wonderful rest of the evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're from. Bye-bye.